And I think that's because they were the most aimless. And so if you already have a plan, making another plan is going to have some utility. But if you've never had a plan in your life and you even make a bad plan, that puts you far ahead. And then the last experiment we did was at a vocational college in Canada. And we dropped the dropout rate among young men by 50% in the first year. 50%.
Wow.
They did the exercise in 90 minutes when they came for their orientation. And exactly 0 universities have picked up this program, which is another indication.
I like that exercise.
It's a great exercise, man. And you can, and I encourage people, it's at selfauthoring.com is where the exercise is. I encourage people to do a bad job of it, because if you make a plan for the next 5 years, that plan is going to change as you move ahead. And so then you might say, well, why bother making a plan? And well, part of the reason is because you motivate yourself with a goal and you constrain your anxiety. Like a plan does both of those, if it's a good plan. And then it also enables you to learn along the way. And so you don't want to be so perfectionistic that you criticize your plan to death. You want to have kind of a loose guideline for how you're going to move forward and allow yourself to course correct along the way. But the other thing is that we weren't exactly sure why writing the plan worked. So we looked into that. Did what people write about matter? And the answer to that seemed to be no. What did matter was how many words they wrote. And that was probably a proxy for how much effort they put into it. And then you might say, well, do the particulars of your plan matter? And I would say they probably matter to some degree, but what matters more is that you start to conceptualize yourself as the author of your own future. And I think for many of these people, especially for the lower achieving young men, they'd never once conceptualized themselves as the authors of their own destiny. Because that's a very particular way of viewing yourself. It's a lot easier to think of yourself as the passive recipient of external forces or as a victim, and that also gives you an excuse, well, not to do anything particularly effortful. Mm-hmm. But it's terrible. It's terrible.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Some advice for sure would be for people is to just start writing down your goals, and you have to do that, your plan. Well,
you can also start by watching, like you can watch yourself week to week, day to day, let's say. Watch what you're interested in. Notice when you're engaged. You're engaged when you're not thinking about yourself, you're concentrating on the task at hand, and the sense of time disappears. Well, if you watch yourself, you can see when that's happening to you. For extroverts, it's going to often be when they're around friends.